Recording right now.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Hey, welcome back to the TWEOM Podcast. I'm your host, Joel Morris.
What's good? It's your other host, Louis the 15th.
And it's your other host, Walt Reed.
Yo.
Oh, Lord.
Man,
Thirsty as a bit.
Yeah. Shit, man.
they say Rome wasn't built in a day.
Shit.
It
I
didn't
know,
fall in
man.
one either.
Yeah, I completely agree, man.
Yeah.
It didn't fall in one either, but it
Beyond the
was built by
way.
slaves too.
Hey,
So,
facts.
funny
Talk
thing about
about
these
it.
empires built on the backs of slaves, they always seem to come crashing down.
Yeah, so what a week.
Yeah, man.
It's only
So,
Wednesday.
where you guys want to start, man?
So, let's start with
I kind of want to talk about these reparations.
I want to talk about reparations too. So I got the black tea on.
Reparations,
Bob Johnson's proposal.
Bob Johnson, man. Look,
Yeah.
I was hoping somebody would just come out and be like, you know what? I'm I am deep enough in this and I'm well established in this where I can say what I want,
Yeah.
and not be affected an inch. So he's like, yo, like reparations 14 trillion. And I like how he slapped a real hefty number on it. Like,
Yeah,
right,
realistic number.
exactly, because people constantly have been talking about like, oh, the debt ceiling for the US, right? They're like, it's gonna reach $1 trillion, and they're making such an astounding, presence over that number. So there's an idea of the weight it carries with just 1 trillion.
Yeah.
So when he was like 14, he means what he's talking about.
Yeah. 100%. It was like, what is it, averages out to 350,000 payout per descendant of slaves?
is that individuals or like
That's
family?
individually.
That
So
would
there's
be
40
individual,
million
yeah.
descendants of slaves in this country, and it would be about 350,000 paid out to, I believe that's individuals.
Makes sense.
Like, I don't think the price tag is that high if you just go families.
No,
Yeah.
especially
I mean,
14
either
trillion
way.
divided by
But shoot, the nigga, a child he didn't get to stay home and play while his mom worked the field. That nigga was out there too. So,
Right.
wasn't no family representation on the field, nigga. So ain't no family representation when we get this check.
Look, you had little hands for a reason, so you can squeeze them into them little joints.
Yeah. So I want to have the conversation about reparations without the thought of it not happening.
Okay.
Because what I realize, sometimes these conversations get stifled by the realistic way it could possibly, might, sort of, kind of happen one day, versus just what we truly 100% want. I think Bob Johnson put the want 100% out there.
Yeah.
Or the realistic, if you're talking about a monetary compensation for what happened throughout the course of our history in this country, 14 trillion paid out to Black Americans, 13% get 14 trill.
Okay. So, well, then, first of all, it's happening. Cool. We're in that world. How do you determine? Because I know me personally, I'm not getting that, which is whatever.
Right.
But like, how do?
Same.
Because I'm an immigrant. But like, how do you like backtrack and be like, okay, Joel Morris was his family, his ancestors was owned by this slave master, dating back so and so decades, centuries, whatever. Like, how do we track who gets it?
I think for what you're referencing, it has to come into play because my father's side is from Georgia, my mother's side is from North Carolina. So most likely both sides of my family were slaves at some point. So then I would track it to where it just has to, I just think if your bloodline touches slavery and to me, it's like, it gets iffy where, what about the person whose father's a quarter Black, his great-great-grandparents were slaves, but his daughter's completely white? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's where it kind of gets a little iffy, dealing with, I don't want to say colorism. I'm more like just the descendants of slaves who are no longer identifying as Black in this country. they are what do they call it? They're able to
White passing? You mean
yeah, white
passing?
passing. White passing. But honestly, there are people who like they just are 25%. And it's like there's
Okay.
somebody, for instance, one of my old favorite porn stars, August Ames, rest in peace.
You said that so freely. I love it.
He was well, I mean, she died. I mean, but I remember she had a video where she said her dad was a quarter black. And you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, but she looks 100% like a white girl. So that's where you kind of get iffy. But I think if your bloodline hits slavery, meaning at some point your ancestors were slaves, you get the check. It's just that simple. I don't think we can work too many restrictions into this. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can work too many restrictions into it. It just has to be a check paid out to the descendants of slaves.
Yeah, especially if we're gonna go by olden rules. Like what was that? The 1% rule?
One drop rule?
Like, yeah, one drop. Like yeah. If you're a quarter black, you get that 300, whatever the fuck.
I'm with it. Like because if we're basing this on a payment for a time of slavery and servitude and Jim Crow, then the one drop rule, which was racist, is definitely how we should be going by it. Like, use the same metrics you use to put us in these chains. Like,
so the question is, how do we measure the? And I guess not measure this, but who controls this measurement?
I would prefer AfricanAncestry.com.
Okay.
There would have to be a place where you've gone, charted your family's history, and there's companies that do this. And you're basically, it's fully mapped out, and then you receive the payment.
Right. So you have to basically apply for it in the way you would like, any other like government program. Exactly. Not saying that the government program, but
yeah. It's like it would just require a 2 to 3 generational background check versus the usual 1 generation, which you do before you get a government job now anyway. They calling up, they seeing where your family from, where your parents from. They do all that shit before they give you these high classified positions.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man, boy, don't I know it? The old spot I used to live at, they were Iranian, my next door neighbors, and one of them was trying to get into the FBI. Had agents knocking on our door every other day. Man, it was bad. They were just, hey, like, how do you know him? And like, how long has he been here? Does he seem like a good citizen? I was like,
yeah. So since we're talking about the situation of them being given out, I don't know. Beyond that, I don't know where this conversation really.
Honestly, this whole Georgia conversation that we had a couple weeks ago makes way more sense.
Oh, you mean just getting the whole state?
Like just getting the whole state, because it's like, what is the economic worth of an entire state?
You know what's funny though?
That's facts.
Yeah. I was on the gram one day, and I know people like to talk about, ATL, Georgia, all that stuff is like real life Wakanda. T.I. likes to promote that, all the rappers down there. But I was watching a video where somebody pointed out the fact that like Georgia has one of like the greatest wealth gaps in the entire country. Like when people think of Atlanta or like Georgia as Wakanda, they're really just thinking about like the Migos, the 2 Chainz, like the entertainers down there were balling. But there's actually like a huge wealth gap between the haves and the have and have nots in Georgia. But
100%. That is facts. That's why that one sister who was talking about, I posted in my timeline, she was talking about the looting and the burning and stuff. I want to say her name because she's from Georgia. But she was talking about this because she was saying that it seems to be the only people who are talking about property and stuff seem to be the wealthy black people.
Right.
And so she brought that point up. What's her name? Oh, Kimberly Latrice Jones. Yeah, so she's from Atlanta. Yeah, she's an activist and author. So her point of the video was this: we don't own this shit. And she made the analogy of playing Monopoly. We all are playing Monopoly, and for 400 turns, we weren't allowed to collect any money or property. Now, after that 400 turns, they said, okay, you can get one house. We'll give you a little bit, and you can play the game normally now. Basically, you can play normally, but we're gonna keep what we have from the 400 turns where you couldn't do nothing. So she said, and now so we play and we make our way, we get a little bit of something, and then y'all destroy it. Black Wall Street, et cetera, et cetera. And then you guys come up and say, well, you don't want to play no more? And she's like, the only way for this game to realistically be fair is if you give me some of the 400 from the money you collected from the 400 turns, if you share the wealth. Mm-hmm. The wealth is attained by ill-gotten gains. See, we see wealthy, we think of Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and da-da-da-da-da. But don't forget, Mark Zuckerberg went to Harvard. Harvard was a school endowed and built off the backs of slaves. So his progeny is actually, in fact, a result of our ancestors' work. So even his escapability to be like, no, I invented Facebook to get this wealth. No, Mark, look at your trajectory, your timeline of your life. The benefits are all the way there off the backs of our ancestors. And now you have this great thing that makes you a billionaire. However, you have to admit, or you have to at least understand where your wealth was accumulated, where your privilege was accumulated. So like I said, I mean, these things are factors we got to take into play, yo.
Let's not even forget, even without, let's dig even deeper with that Facebook analogy. The idea for Facebook itself, Mark Zuckerberg allegedly stole it from like two brothers that he met at Harvard. So either way, it's, I mean, it is what it is. If you don't patent the idea,
Well, I'm just combating
gains.
Exactly. And I was just trying to combat this idea because we don't really know the faces of the people whose wealth has gone intergenerational from that period, meaning their great grandparents really owned slaves, were wealthy from it, and just maintained the wealth in the family, the old money. We don't really know the faces of the old money. I mean, you know about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers.
No, but there's like a Williams family that's out there that was from Atlanta, Georgia. They probably migrated to somewhere in Nebraska and was chilling out. Like that's totally plausible.
100%.
And you know what? And when they were in Nebraska, they stumbled on some oil fields or whatever, and they maintained they want them there. But they were able to actually get the infrastructure started because they had their wealth from slavery.
Exactly. And plus, the infrastructure you just mentioned, it's also their ability to write the legislation that has dictated the way our lives have been lived. Men with wealth and power wrote these laws and wrote these rules to set up the white privilege that we have. They don't have that ability to set it up that way if they don't have the ill-gotten gains of owning slaves. Right. So this is the whole fundamental reasoning behind the way 3/5 came into all that shit we talked about last week. But to me, like I said, there's no escaping. The privilege is there because of the white men who were rich off of our ancestors' work, setting that privilege up. So there's a whole host of reasons why I don't want the argument to ever be, well, they earned their money, so how could we just shut the fuck up? It don't matter if you own shit. The country's set up a certain way, yo.
Exactly.
And that's what we're talking about when we talk about reparations. Like, if you just think the amount of taxes we've paid as a people, but have reaped no benefits of it. Our taxes go to police, bro. Go to police. They've taken our taxes in the past and funded their schools with it.
Yeah.
While we get the short end of every budget still to this day. So like I said, man, and then like, come on, son, there's been violence in like Baltimore's been Baltimore since before I was born.
It's just like New York has been New York, like gangs in New York.
But that's like, it's intentional. You've kept these places as hoods intentionally. Like, you can't tell me it's not intentional. I've seen you gentrify a whole community since I've been alive. Exactly. Do you mean to tell me you can't do the same thing without moving the people?
You don't want to.
Exactly.
It's going to be too expensive. No. You are just going to take a hit, and you're not trying to maintain your long-term assets. That's all you're doing right now.
100%. You don't want to give up what you got.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the main argument for reparations. If we just going to, wrap up the topic, like, it's going to be about assessing, making people fully understand why we are all, because let's be real, my taxes are going towards paying me reparations. So
Hmm.
why all of our money is going to go towards paying one group of Americans a large sum of money? Because this is where the argument falls in. Oh, my ancestors didn't own slaves.
Easy, buddy. Easy, bucko.
And you know,
Yeah, I
I
don't.
always look at Ta-Nehisi Coates what he said. He said, your grandfather made out of, your great grandparents made out of own slaves, but they wanted one. That was like having a BMW back in the day, bro.
1886 BMW slave.
Look, facts, man.
Yeah, I'm not entertaining those talks about how, you know, there just isn't enough money to give niggas money for reparations. But I'm like, yo, y'all did it for the Japanese. All them Japanese people you had in the term. I literally had this argument with my manager at my old job. And I'm like, y'all did it. And niggas is only 13% of the population. So don't tell me like, you know, there's not money, because y'all definitely did it for the Japanese. Like, they got to pay out. Y'all did it for the Native Americans. They got some land and some casinos. Like, we are not that big of a population to where you can't give niggas like $300K each.
Yeah, I agree.
But they understand how deep the racism is in this country, because they know they know why motherfuckers gonna be tight simply because black people got it.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's why I said it. I've been saying this like all week. I was like, we gotta let this Obama ain't do nothing go, bro. When I realized if Obama really did some shit for black people while he was in there would have been a civil war.
Oh,
like if he really started talking reparations, defunding the police,
somebody in the White House would have been like, I cannot stand for this. I must act my patriotic
somebody.
duty.
You mean Mitch McConnell? That's his.
No, that toad wouldn't have done nothing.
It would have been true. Y'all looking too far. Joe Biden would have slapped the fuck out of him.
True.
You need reparations, nigga. Joe Biden.
Get a hold of yourself, Barry. Get a hold of yourself. What are you talking about?
Exactly. The fuck is you talking about, Barry? Let's go out here and dance.
Right. Like,
shit, man. Let's keep it 110%.
You've been tipping that
Joe would have been fucked
too long. All right. Remember, it's us. Not you, it's us.
We gotta look at all Americans. Obama, Barry, Obeezy.
Barry.
All right, you good, baby? You good?
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, it's So like I said, I'm letting that conversation all the way die too.
Yeah,
that's the first thing out of some niggas' mouth. Obama ain't do nothing either.
I mean, nigga, you ain't do nothing.
Oh man, you know me niggas who don't do nothing be saying a lot of shit.
Right, like
what's that Kanye West line? Niggas do the most when they ain't done shit.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. What is that one Drake line though?
Which one?
First name greatest.
No. It's the joint in Blessings. What does he say? He said, "Y'all niggas be talking the most for not doing much." Like I forgot how he said it. Wow, never. Yeah, that's fact, Shane.
I swear y'all niggas be doing the most. Yeah,
yeah.
Niggas who don't really do shit, I swear y'all be doing the most. That's it.
Exactly, bro. Exactly, dog. So,
yeah. So did we all watch that? Like randomly, did we all watch that Bob Johnson interview on the Breakfast Club? Because I saw that joint last night. It's funny y'all bringing it up.
I started watching it, but then I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I passed that joint around. I just assumed we all saw the same joint, but that's exactly what he was talking about. He went into depth about the same thing, and Charlemagne, as always, was like, you know, you got to change the systems and the mindsets of these races. And Bob Johnson was like, yo, Malcolm X said, what do you call a black person with $1 million? A nigga. Basically saying like, you can't change the mindsets of the people who are racist and who are in power, like, but you can make a nigga's life real easy if you give him $300K. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's still a nigga, but he's, you know, he can move easier with some change in his pocket.
I've always thought about maybe
they only respect the capital anyway.
Agreed. I think we have to appeal to white people getting something from this too. And we obviously noticed that the majority don't give a fuck about just healing the country, right? and doing right for what's been done wrong. They don't care about all the conscious arguments for why we should do this, right? And so this is what I literally said. Once y'all write the check, we just won't talk about racism no more. I'm being serious. Like, you have the permission to say, shut the fuck up. I don't want to talk about this. We wrote the check. That's exactly what white people can say after this. Like, I'm serious.
People do it. No, I'm with you. That's how rich people do it.
100%. Like, that's what white people get from this. The ability to just no longer talk about this thing that is obviously a big issue for them to talk about. They can just leave it all in the rear view as soon as they write the check.
Shit, I want some of that money. I ain't even eligible.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, look at it.
I feel I understand what you're saying, but I also feel I don't understand what you're saying.
What I'm saying is they have to get something from it.
Yes, I understand that. Yes.
Well, I realized a long time ago, being the person who was, I don't know, posting about our people regularly. Most of the time, I realized the arguments I got from white people, it wasn't anything to do with the substance or information I would post. It was just them trying to circumvent a way for me to shut the fuck up. That's why you say the black on black crime, and they want us to hear that and be like, well, I guess cops should be allowed to kill us, just niggas in the hood just killing you, just dumb shit, right? That's what they want from that. They want silence. They want you to shut the fuck up. So what I've discerned from that is I will happily shut the fuck up once we get this check. That's what I realized. That's genuinely what most of this is about, bro. It's like, because while I was telling this one girl, she messaged me earlier, what was the 2020 election cycle looking like? I told her, look, y'all with the anti-racist movement, you best believe the racist is about to get extra loud. Because now y'all being anti. They was getting loud with y'all being silent. Now you being anti? Trust me, it's about to get hot in this country. Some of us gonna need that same energy our ancestors needed to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge, bro, to vote. People think I'm joking, but trust, the shit is coming down. Motherfuckers is like, you see these rednecks getting on the joint, talking about, as soon as Trump sends the tweet, I'm out there killing you. Like, motherfuckers is ready, bro. Like, and people think it's a game. It's not a game. We see them shoot up schools in their own neighborhood.
Facts.
Come on, son. They ain't playing. White men will lay out the whole block and just keep it pushing. And get Burger King, nigga.
Yeah.
By the police. Police are hand on the Burger King. That's the country we live in, son. That didn't change, nigga. That shit happened. That annual B was in 2015.
He's just as scared.
You want fries with that Whopper, Dylann?
Look,
no fries.
And so that's what I'm saying. Don't expect the police to be protecting these polling places in certain parts of this country. And later on this year, that's all I'm saying. And shoot, we might see some good old fashioned crosses burning in the yard again. Because I already heard from the Minneapolis.
Well, if you identify yourself, does that? Because the KKK is a terrorist group, and they have terrorist ideologies. So America's after 9/11, I thought our whole main goal is to stamp out terrorism. And since somebody has identified that, we can seek out whoever put that cross in somebody's yard and stamp them out. Theoretically.
Psych, boy.
But what if the dude who burned the cross in your yard is the police chief?
Exactly.
Look, have you guys seen Watchmen?
The first, I haven't seen. I know about the first episode though, and all the corresponding episodes.
The main thing that I've taken away from that series is the White Christmas, the event where just a bunch of police names and addresses are leaked, and retribution is taken on them. And I feel like we're heading down that course, feasibly. I mean, Anonymous has already joined in, this fight, and police chiefs, the New York police chief has already said himself that he's like, you're vilifying the police and you're treating us like dogs, and you're not treating us fairly.
Oh yeah, the New York police chief.
Yes, yes. And that's the dissonance in his statements, and how that resonates throughout, I feel we will end up in a situation where we just have all these police names and addresses leaked.
Who are
You
in the
know,
KKK? You mean?
no, just
Yeah.
open retribution against police. Like, all right, here they are. If for every state, every county, if you want them, here they are. You can do whatever.
It's not
Well,
gonna be for
honestly,
niggas though.
I'm not gonna
I
lie.
mean,
I've kind of wondered why we don't already have that information.
well,
Like, I looked
because
up
of
our police department here.
yeah,
I can tell you they have pictures of who the chief is, who's in control of data analytics. They have the leadership on the website, but I don't know the officer that if I called right now, who would be working the beat and be able to respond quicker.
yeah,
We should know that. For instance, when I see that video of George Floyd, they should have been able to yell, "Derek, get the fuck off of him,"
yeah,
because that's how community oriented the police should be. Where if they're like, "Yo, Derek, what the fuck are you doing?" That's George. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying citizens will ever know each other like that, but I really believe to a high standard. Like, if Georgia down there, like, Derek, what the fuck? Like, because there even reports right now that they may have had altercations when they worked together at this club.
Hey, for real? So like he really did know this man.
So that's what's speculated right now.
So is the charge a second degree still?
It would still be second degree because it's not premeditated, meaning the officer isn't in control of the phone call that was made for him to arrive at the scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas if he had just pulled Floyd over, then maybe you could make a first degree argument. But it still isn't premeditated in regards to he responded to a call and saw George and was an opportunist.
They would have to say that the officer had said something weeks prior or maybe the day before about George specifically.
Yeah.
You know, to justify first.
Like if he went into that place, yo, if this man comes in here, call us. Even if he has like $20, whatever, just call us for some shit. I just want to, like, if it went down like that, that's premeditated. But right now, I know it's premeditated in regards to he always couldn't stand George, the brother who was married to this white woman.
And, hold on. My bad. I think I missed that.
I believe George had a white woman. There was this white lady they showed at the beginning of all this, saying that was his wife or some shit.
Well, I mean, his daughter is
the homie Flo.
Well, no, that's with his previous joint from Houston.
Okay,
that's his daughter. That's with a previous woman. But nah, because that was a joint I posted. I posted that. That was weeks ago, bro. Because I put the time.
That's all right though.
I put the message. It was on a Savoy show.
I just didn't know.
Because this white woman was talking about George would want people to forgive or whatever, and I was like, first of all, George ain't say none of that while he was getting
right.
He say nothing about forgiveness. He asked for help, his breath, and his mama.
Exactly.
He didn't even mention her name. So, but I know, like I said, I'd be like people don't understand a lot of this racial animosity and tension comes from the sole fact of
he's a nigga.
They didn't want us with the white women. That's why the outlandish narratives of us being rapists, seeking out white women, thirsting over white women. Most of these things stem from the fear that they have of us taking a white woman. Like,
yeah, Joe, we've already talked. Like, this is literally happening to my own pops. Like,
100%, man. And that's why, you know, a lot of them white women would do shit and then lie on niggas because they ain't want to face the backlash of being a nigga level. Like James Baldwin said this. There have been people who have watched their lovers burn because they didn't want to admit that they were lovers.
Well, that's the line in I Am Not Your Negro that really hit me in the theaters, bro.
100%, man. I'll never forget that shit. He was talking straight facts. He's like, they would prefer that person that they slept with die before they admit that they slept with a black person. People need to understand how deep-rooted this thing is that we're talking about right now. It's deep. It's deep. You got to understand, man, the way they treated us when we was enslavement, I'm talking about when you get the real history books, the breeding farms, and the things they would do to the bucks to break them in and breed the slave. Like, I'm talking, it was just straight pure. Whatever you see going on right now with the cows and these beef plants and shit, that was us, dog.
Yeah.
100%. Hang him upside down, cut the dick. It was in Django. Cut the dick off. You don't need it no more. He dared talk back to the white man. Cut him off. He can still work the fields. He just can't be a breeder no more. That's how callous it was, man.
That sounds
So
sick, though.
exactly, but that's working. So for that level of, you have to understand, like, they used religion, pseudoscience, everything to dehumanize us, so they could do that. And you even see it in case in point now where they dehumanize us, like slavery. Just criminality was invented for black people. There was no such thing as a criminal until we became free. There were people who did bad things and then got locked up, but retribution was expected. It was based on the Protestant method of redemption. So that's what prisons were initially built for. You do something wrong, you go in there for a while, you redeem yourself, and you come out a better person. It was based all on Christian mythology, but of course that can't be forced upon us because we can't use that edict, because only thing in the Bible for us was the slave quotes. So basically, that's where all those things breed from. So people need to really understand, it's not like, what is the animus that you need to see black people thriving, not in your neighborhood, but in their own neighborhood, a couple blocks away, but you just can't take it. They not dating your women. They not fucking with you at all. They just thriving down the street. But it's going to burn at your spirit, especially if you broke.
Exactly. I was about to say.
So that's what Trump gave him, bro. He reinstilled that truth in whiteness, because a white person, we talked about this when we get our own state. If they only have themselves in that state, they can't blame Mexicans for taking their jobs. Exactly. They have to look at themselves. They have to blame themselves for their lack of wealth and their lack of like, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, and they would do anything to avoid looking in that mirror, bro.
Yep. You know, it was a bunch of broke crackers that burned down Black Wall Street. Had to be.
Yeah, 100%. And then, you know, when they got bombed too. So yeah, man, it's like I said, it should go deep, bro. We just seeing the that's one thing I want to talk about. I finally understand the benefits of integration.
Benefits.
Yes. I've literally struggled with this for the past 6 years, maybe 4 or 5. I wondered, because I knew what we would have been if we were on our own. We would have just been dope and thriving. But there would have still been a vitriol racist environment like there is now. What I realized the integration got us was a generation of white kids who cannot be racist. Like, they can't be. What I mean by that is, their president was black. They favorite ball player black. They favorite music is from black people. And they best friends is black. And they must admit that their mom's friend cooks better food.
Yeah.
The jollof is popping at Lou House.
Hey,
like,
you know,
but this
calls it as it is.
So this doesn't happen with our integration. And so the results of that, these white people we see running out here, jumping on in front of black people, yo, what you doing? Don't arrest him. Yeah. I seen this video yesterday. This young white kid, this black kid was getting harassed by the cops, and the cop grabbed his neck. This white kid stepped, "Oh, what you fucking doing, yeah?" Because he was just mad. But I'm saying, like, he was mad because he was just like, yo, this is really happening in front of me. I can't deal.
Yeah.
It cannot be racist.
Yeah.
We finally have gotten to that generation where, huh?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it right there, Walt. It's cool. Like, it's cool to say some shit now.
Yeah. Cool. No, like I said, I've literally, until this last week, it finally hit me. Oh, okay. These are literally, because even Martin said it, I'm afraid that I've integrated my people into a burning house. You did, Martin. It just wasn't a quick fire. It's still burning. No doubt about it. But it was enough of a slow burn for us to at least get a generation of white kids who is not with none of this fuck shit at all.
It wasn't a burn so much a heat source.
Yeah.
Call it what you want, man. Shit still
exactly. It was, man. But
still
so
lit.
I mean, what do you guys thoughts about that? Because I really genuinely feel like, okay, this is right now the plays that we see happening in the streets with these young white kids is literally the result and benefit of integration.
No, and you're right. Like honestly, because there was one video, black kid, he opened his arms up. The police are really about to, just whisk him away, him and only him. But then there's one white girl just slipped her body right in between her, the police and the protester. And I was like, yo, like she really is like putting her, and she's tiny too. She's smaller than both of them.
I think I saw that video too.
Yeah, like she just really slipped herself in there, to protect this dude. Like, and it, like you said, you're right. Like these kids can't be racist. Like they understand the system of where it's at.
Yeah,
it's just, yeah. Like I never thought about the benefits of integration until now. Yeah. Is there another benefit? In fact,
nah. That's it.
Like, yeah, because it's like, wait, what else?
That's it. Because most of the prejudice and bias that we face is from the unknown to what is promoted, right? Like, for instance, people were asking, should there be music at these protests? And my thought is, yes. We're black people. This whole time we've been saying how they love the culture but not the people. Now they're out there showing they love the people, but we don't bring the culture. What is that?
I don't even know what a protest is without some music. Like, okay,
so to that point, but we don't need Migos playing.
You can't play Black Knight.
No, none of that shit. Because there's music with messages to fit the theme of what we're out there for.
The thing is, yes,
by a numerous amount of artists who don't get the mainstream radio play.
Yes.
So to me, if you're going to be out there in the cultural aspect that is activism, which is we have our Nina Simone's, we have our J. Cole's, we have our Kendricks. All right is cool. You know what I'm saying? That's fine because that is that leg of our culture that already exists is now in play with the activism. So it goes together. Now, I do agree. We should be turning it into Coachella. And there's a lot of music in our culture that has no substance that can be worth anything at those places. So I
say Knuck If You Buck can get niggas real riled up to protest.
We don't need real riots, man. We don't need real riots.
But
we're not rioting though.
But look at it this way though. No. I can't say that. I would love Black and the Berry might start a riot.
I doubt it, man. When's the last time niggas rioted, bro?
No, I'm just saying, like,
that's the thing that, like, go ahead, Joe.
No. Do what you about to say? What was you about to say?
Because I was gonna say, like, if police really like pushing back, right, and then niggas have been playing, Black of the Berry. They've been playing Knuck If You Buck. They hit them up. They've been playing Annie Up. They've been playing Who Shot You. Like, it's like you play rowdy music. Like, niggas is really going fight back. Like, truly fight back. You're gonna have people on rooftops like starting to throw shit at police, and then the police are gonna be in for something that they're not, like, that they weren't not that they weren't ready for, but that they weren't expecting, and then they're gonna start shooting everywhere. And that's gonna be the ill shit. Like once the police start, shooting everywhere because they don't know where to focus, that's when everybody get fucked up.
We do not riot. Like it don't matter if you play Annie Up, Knuck If You Buck, Crime Mob, all that. I'm like we will turn. I say we turn up. We don't riot. We turn up to Knuck If You Buck. We not gonna go out there and like throw a garbage can through a glass window like it's do the right thing.
Oh no!
Knuck If You Buck is our version of a mosh pit.
Exactly. Yeah. We turn up.
Which means let's be real, the white kids is not unfamiliar with mosh pits. Right. So if anybody turn up, it's gonna be them.
That's all we've been seeing, bro. That's all it's always been.
Oh man, they stressing over these videos. When I saw that old 75-year-old white man get his head cracked open on the ground.
Yeah, man.
And now you got the president talking about it might be conspiracy, bro. They was used to images of us getting beat up, but the images of them getting beat up, they can't do.
Right? Yeah.
They
Oh
coming for
no.
police heads, bro. Did you not see the police officer that got killed in California this week? The sheriff. I forgot what county it was. The dude who killed him was a sergeant in the Air Force, a white man.
Where's the word?
That's why I didn't break national news, because it wasn't a black man. If a black man did it, you know, we would have heard
no,
of it.
everywhere. Because I saw a video
They put that one picture of him in a dashiki. That's his only
facts.
There was one officer that got hit by a car in New York.
Yeah.
But even to your point with the it was very interesting with the police chief. He didn't catch any of the hypocrisy in what he was saying. You're treating us like thugs and animals and like, and that's just those like Walt said, that dissonance, it's terrifying to me.
Right.
So when they got hit by a car, yeah, y'all hit people with cars earlier this week, bro. That's just karma.
Right, like exactly. Like I can't be but so sad to your plight at right now.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me that you know, your department is squeaky clean and nobody acts like this. Nobody acts like things that you've seen in these videos.
Facts.
Right? And even so, you can't tell me that you don't know of somebody that doesn't act like this. Like, you know somebody that does.
Come on.
So why don't you go and help correct it?
Yeah.
Like, come on, that's all we're asking. We're just asking for y'all to be the upstanding, moral, whatever in society that we expected you to be. Instead of fucking slave owners.
What you sold us, you should be at least half of the movie should. At least half of the movie should match the trailer, bro.
You know what? If you gonna rob somebody, rob criminals. I wouldn't be mad if some police was just like, oh, you know, like there was a drug bust where, you know, criminals were robbed by the police. I'm like, okay, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
And to the point, the cops that hit protesters with cars, people say, well, those weren't the same officers that got hit by a car. But y'all hiding your badge number, so we don't know who is who. Y'all want to appear as one person out there, so we can't get you afterwards for doing fuck shit.
That's why I'm saying.
So
like,
if you run over people and then one of your homies get ran over, that's your fault, bro.
Bruh, yo, you see the one picture of the homeless man that got hit with the rubber bullet?
Oh, that was tragic. I shared that joke.
Yeah. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. The funniest and the most ironic part about that the police chief speech was like, he said something along the lines of like, yo, that's them over there in Minneapolis. Like, we don't kill people. And I'm like, ain't this the same state that choked out Eric Garner like 6 years ago?
And didn't and the police, they literally just got the Pantaleo fired last year. He was working. The cop that killed Eric Garner was working till last year. They had to interrupt a dinner of elected officials, my son, Tamika, and them, yelling out "Fire Pantaleo" for De Blasio to even do anything about this shit.
Man, like, and that's the sick shit about this, man. Like, you can't tell me having a recorded killing of a man and have the person work the next day. Like, you can't tell me that's okay. And on top of that, like, with this whole defund the police, we can't have internal investigations anymore. Like, it has to be a third party. They can't be.
Oh, did you see that news about Breonna Taylor today?
Oh,
I heard something.
4 pages.
3-month investigation. 4 pages of some nothing.
They said her injuries were none.
She have no injuries. Got 8 bullets in her. That's Kentucky, though. But it's all of them.
Nah, because I definitely know that Texas is a lot better than Kentucky.
I don't know, bro.
No, I'm pretty sure that their officers are just as shit.
No, they are. What I found fucked up about, because this is what really highlighted to me that they don't give a fuck at all. Because a lot of the arguments sometimes are, you know, oh, the cop was in the heat of the moment and did something dumb, right? Okay. If I can see that in lunacy theory to you, right? Let's look at Botham John. Dies, and I believe it was Fort Worth, Texas, or Dallas. I'm not sure which part of Texas he got killed in, but I did look this up in the past. Botham John got killed, I think it was 2017 or 2018. Tatiana Jefferson got killed, I think, who's also from Texas, lived 30 miles away from Botham. Right? She got killed years later after Botham's trial had already ended. An officer responded to a call by the neighbor that said the door of her house was open. Officer showed up. Instead of going in the house doing a wellness check, he decided to look around the back because he already thought he was on a crime scene. And she came to the window with her gun because it's Texas, and the cop shot her through the window and killed her. When you tell me that Amber Geiger killing Botham Jean was a tragedy, there was no changes in the police force training because 2 years later, a Tatiana Jefferson dies, or a year later, right? To me, that shows me that Botham wasn't a tragedy to you. It was just one you couldn't get away with. Because if it was a tragedy to you, nigga, you know how long it take you to the airport because of one tragedy? Take a long time to get to the airport because of one tragedy. I've seen a response to tragedy in this country when they care. So all the police in Texas didn't change anything about their police training, vetting process, because you've had, like, the only reason I'm bringing up the fact that it was like a year or 2 years apart is the fact you've had time to implement changes. And for a cop to just walk up to Tatiana Jefferson's window and kill, that means he's, and to Jarek Chauvin, I know you've seen the I Can't Breathe video, bruh. And he's saying, I can't breathe. Dog, it's so bad with the police killing videos, we getting sequels, nigga.
That nobody asked for.
Nobody asked for the sequels, bro. Niggas, they making sequels to police killers. Niggas, this was I Can't Breathe Part 2, nigga.
Look, we don't need that.
One was an arm chokehold that was already banned, and the other one was a knee chokehold that just looked all the way wrong.
And these little white kids that are on the internet,
and that nigga breaking the fourth wall.
Like,
oh yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, absolute.
But like I said, man, I already know those white kids are not and cannot communicate with the ones who are protesting for us. Like, those are those white kids who just, they're so insulated in their one setting. I meet these type of people at work. Like, I could just tell there's some girls in my job who just never been around black people before.
Yeah.
And if they were, it was most likely some cooning ass nigga. They haven't been around a self-actualized black man with his own thoughts and ideas. And you know, they're cool if you fitting into the motif. I did this at Mason, you know what I'm saying? A couple times you walk in with the swag. Like, you know what I'm saying? You get the pussy sometimes off of the fact that niggas are shooting each other in music videos. Cause you get to ride in those
facts. Yeah.
You know, sometimes you meet a certain chick and she may have a perception of you because you're black, but I know niggas is lying if they say they never work within that shit sometimes to get that. But like, you know what I'm saying? Shoot, I've been a whole drug dealer before.
Joe better move that dope.
A whole drug dealer about to go to the military just so I can smash it. Judge told me I got to do this for 2 years. I don't know if I'm gonna make it back. You know, we had nigga, come on, I done told Webbs of lies, nigga.
That's funny.
Foul.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mason was a different place, man. I had never seen so many people naive to others' lives until I went to college.
Hey, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is. But what other bullshit been going on this week?
Oh, I did want to talk about Terry Crews.
Oh, get it.
I just love Orlando Jones's response.
You
black supremacy.
Yeah. Everyone's response was pretty much like, oh yeah, I forgot Terry used to play football, got hit in the head a lot. And you know, sometimes a brother could say one thing very eloquently one time, and we think that means everything I think he thinks that. Because, you know, he got the pat on the backs for coming forward and being brave during the Me Too thing.
During the Me Too, exactly.
I'm not mad. He voiced a lot of things that needed to be said as men. And I think he just thought that he just had, like, he's that guy now.
Hey, look, I thought he learned his lesson when Gabrielle Union was going through a thing with America's Got Talent. Like
Oh yeah, when they said
I
it.
thought he learned his lesson there.
Do y'all remember his tweet from then?
But
Yeah.
man, what he said, I don't need to impress any woman but my wife, not my daughters, not my mom, not my aunts. Like what?
Right then and there, niggas should have thought throw away everything he will say after this. Nothing ever relevant will come out this nigga's mouth ever again.
Right, like it's
Yeah,
like yo, like Terry, you going extra hard for what? I don't know,
Bro.
But you keep it extra hard for the white man, but now like you doubling down on the male.
We can't get rid of white supremacy without white people, because that would just make it black supremacy. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right?
Can we even get rid of it without them?
No.
So
No.
that's what I'm saying. But he thought that was a bar. He thought that was gonna be the joint.
No,
like, you know, you see, think about it. He was at the crib. He was like, yo, it's about to get him. Wait till they, because you know he was sitting there, man. He probably had just finished the J. He was like, nigga,
hey, yo,
son, this is about to kill him.
If you gotta put a blunt down in order to write something down, like now it's probably
pick that blunt back up, son.
I'm not mad if you do that, but right, just make sure you don't send it nowhere. Check what you wrote back in the morning.
Right.
Oh,
there's some stupid shit like that.
I think it's ready for this black supremacy site.
You'll get my black robe right now.
Oh,
hey, so apparently I'm seeing on the Shade Room right now, like one of them officers and that George Floyd shooting, or not shooting, killing, that nigga posted bond, bro.
Yeah, he out.
Wasn't that joint like $750K?
You only need to put 10% of his bail.
There's always GoFundMe's for these officers.
Yeah.
They get started. Zimmerman had a bag.
Oh man, Zimmerman came out first. Bruh.
Zimmerman was a victim to a majority of this country, bro. Trayvon and his Negro strength wrestled the gun away. I don't know. Like I said, man.
It was 14 years. No, never mind.
Bulletproof Negro.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. I've seen him put 6 bullets in a nigga and then put the cuffs on him.
Right. Right.
So.
Right.
Like I said, man, it's dehumanized. We working our way from being literal cattle.
That's really why, like, and I've been keeping this in for a while, but at this point, I really just don't care. That's why I really cannot use that Black Lives Matter hashtag. Like, I support the movement wholeheartedly. I've donated to them once or twice, but I cannot bring myself to use the hashtag or even really. I mean, I said it at the protest we went at, but like, if y'all watch that Bob Johnson interview on the Breakfast Club, he talks about how like he too is with the movement, and I had this exact same thought. But like we're literally asking for like the bare bones minimum for motherfuckers to look at us and be like, "Yo, my nigga, you matter." And the way he's like, we gotta really like basically just up our frequency, like. And I've been on that same shit because the way I'm like, yo, I don't need to say that. I'm not gonna say that because I'm already like, yo, like we more than matter. I'm more than matter. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't like the saying.
I had killed it for a while too. I brought it back for the movement. I don't mind doing that because I understand it's for the white people in my life. When I say that, just like I told you guys, the non-violence wasn't a chance, so we stayed cool. It was so the police heard non-violence. That's why I look at Black Lives Matter. That's why I always put the stay woke, because stay woke is for us. Like, I told my sister, look, man, we can't afford to let our value depend on what they got trending. Like, this is what I told y'all about this before. It upset me the most that some black people didn't feel comfortable enough until white people felt comfortable enough to say that we matter. Like that is what truly frightens me or has me the most upset about what I see right now. Like, you should have been said you matter. You should have been preaching that to the heavens, to the sky. Like, I don't understand why you don't say it. Why you couldn't say it until you saw 4 white people you kind of fuck with say it. Or, okay, it's a couple days now, let me jump in here. Or, because I see those people. I see them on my timeline. I know who the fuck they are. Like, and it's like, And I've seen them at work, and I work with these people. Like I said, I just know these type of brothers and sisters, and yeah, it's the ones right now really like posting about the books allies can read. Like those are the black people I'm talking about. Like,
yeah, I get you.
Like they really are trying to get the momentum. The momentum of our liberation is dependent upon the momentum they have assessed from their white counterparts. They don't have the will within themselves to keep it pushing beyond to when this shit stops trending.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's the reality of it. So you're right, Lou. Like Bob Johnson's not wrong at all. Like, and like I said, this is what I've learned from our ancestors. When I told you about W.B. Du Bois, this man literally went through everything he possibly could do to change hearts and minds. And at the end of the day, he said, fuck this, we need to go back to Africa. Like, give me the 350,000.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Just give me that 350,000 and get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, give it to me, my mom, sister. Like, come on, son, we out. We have a house here, but and we will also have one in Africa. Like, I'm talking about connecting the diaspora, young.
That's so funny. That reminds me of that, what's that Chappelle Show skit again? Where niggas just all of a sudden got mad stimulus checks and just went out buying all types of Cadillacs.
That was reparations.
Yeah, you know the skits I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the hypothetical. We got paid reparations and niggas was wilding.
Yeah.
And that's another argument we have for reparations to white people. A lot of these niggas gonna give y'all the money right back.
Right back. Like, right back.
That's another argument. Like people was like, I'm wrestling that to this black dude that worked before. He was like, nah, man, that's why we can't get it. I'm like, bro, I don't like, let's think about it, son. When I get my check on Friday, my boss don't roll up on me like, what you gonna do with that? What is this? Whatever your argument is for, well, what did he do with the money? I was like, nigga, that's not your argument to make. Just give us the money.
Just give me the money.
It's earned money. It's 100% earned money. Like, I don't want to hear about your plans of implementing it and putting it. No. We don't need no white plans in our hoods. We got this. Give us the check, and some of these niggas gonna give it right back to y'all. But whoever needs that money to get a foothold into whatever they want to do,
utilize it.
They're going to utilize it. We always will have the people that will be left behind, son.
Mm-hmm. I mean, every culture has people that are left behind.
Look, I'm 100%. Look.
Hey, let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it Andre 3K, bro.
Hey,
I'm
man,
all 100%.
Nah, we need to keep it two Virgils.
If your favorite, if your favorite rapper, if your favorite rapper is Gucci Mane, you might not make it.
Hey,
right.
Hey,
all right,
bro.
so let's keep it two Virgils right now, son.
Yo,
so you get that 350K. What you really doing with that money? Let's keep it a stack, bro. Joe, what you doing with that money? Whoa,
we are, production company. We're shooting a show, and we just grinding and getting our YouTube subscriptions up, building a fan base. It's really just gonna be used to service my life. I'm gonna get a house. We all gonna be up in that joint working. Y'all niggas ain't gonna be working no more. Y'all going officially on the payroll.
You saying that like we not also getting our own 350K?
No. It's cool.
Y'all wouldn't get it. You're not slaves.
Hypothetically, I'm saying.
Oh yeah, if y'all hypothetically got it, then fuck yeah. But like I said, man, I don't think the plan changes much. If I'm being sincere, unless you guys have deep-seated ambitions I don't know about that extend beyond what we've already talked about. And then once you guys get money, you're gonna be like, you know what, Joe? Fuck this actor shit, nigga. Like, I don't see that happening. So I think it's just about us pulling together our resources to make quality, high volume, meaningful content, and just being able to do away with, like, for instance, I've been knowing a lot of people, they've been unfollowing and blocking people all week. And I'm like, look, I don't do that on my social media because I can't do it in my real life. Until I can unfollow these people at work, I ain't following nobody on Facebook.
That'd be ill though.
Yeah. Once I can leave that joint. Look, bro.
Audio only?
I agree.
Oh, that'd be smooth.
Look, I can't block none of these white people at the job.
Audio only. Ooh.
Look, I'm forced to interact. I'm forced to exist in their spaces.
It says Allison K.
What y'all doing though? If y'all get that bread.
Shit, honestly,
Oh, you go. All right, you know what I'm finna do.
Paying off my debt, and then yeah, like you said, just investing in career, because that's enough to solidify equipment that you need, going forward, and like long term equipment. So like Joel, that might be like two top of the line cameras, maybe 7 different lenses, that you buy off bat. I know for me, it'd be a home. Just so I can have something that's stationary and stable, so it doesn't matter where I'm going. I'll always have a place that I know I can come back to.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I mean, not much different than Joe's. I'm gonna pay off the very little debt that I have. I'm gonna buy a crib for the family. Like y'all go stay over there. I'm gonna buy my own crib because I ain't living with y'all no more. So that's 2 cribs. And then I'm gonna just use the rest of just like I'm gonna just put my bills on auto pay. The very few bills I have, because I've really just been ducking and dodging debt my whole life. I'm gonna put them joints on autopilot, and I'm gonna just be in a room just like watching cartoons and drawing all day. Like I only go to work to buy nice things for bitches and like pay bills and eat good food. Like once that's taken care of, I'm just gonna be in a room just drawing and watching cartoons. Like don't fucking bother me. Don't nobody call me for nothing. Don't nobody. I'm gonna get everybody in the fam a car, a nice car. Don't call me to run no errands. Leave me alone. I'm gonna just be in a room with these cartoons and this pencil.
Yeah. I've kind of actually had like aside from being able to shoot anything, man, it's yeah, man, like I said, man, 350, bro. I'm literally just working towards ambitions and sustaining the wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all it is. Longevity, man. Like people always make these arguments, man, everybody can't be actors. Yes, they can. Everybody can totally be actors. Like, but everybody doesn't have that desire to be actors. So this argument is futile to begin with. So I don't understand this logic that everybody can't pursue and do what they want to do. Like there will always be people who are perfect. They're happy being employees. They like the stability of the check. They like to go one place, and family is all they need when they get home. You know what I'm saying?
Do you guys watch the? Are you caught up on Insecure?
No.
Okay.
Be behind. What's up?
Because there was Lawrence actually talks about that in a recent episode, just being okay with being an employee.
Is he talking about himself personally? Because I know he was working on an app like last time I checked in.
He was he was talking about himself. Ooh, excuse me. And that's what Issa was saying as well. But he laid out his argument, but that he was okay with being able to grow an idea he accepts into, and he said that he thought he says that he thought he needed to be an entrepreneur because that's what he thought he needed to be, if that makes sense. I know that says that.
I get that. No, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, he's saying he found a job with meaning for him.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. But
like I said, if
the entrepreneurial, route that a lot of people think they need to take, because I know my cousin, she said the same thing. She's like, I don't mind working for somebody, like as long as I know they're straight, and like what they're working for isn't fucking terrible. But like I don't mind working 100%. For somebody.
I agree, man. There's some people who they work like I know there's some people at my place. They are there because they really want to fight cancer.
Yeah.
I'm there for the check. And I have serious doubts that that's what we're doing. but
oh, you don't believe in the mission statement of your employers?
I believe we gotta get this money. That's what I believe. But like I said, I'm not gonna ever let that infiltrate that space. I'll keep that there. Like I know there's people there who are 100% dedicated to what they're doing. Just like on Sunday, some people in church just so they don't go to hell.
Yeah, man.
Like some people there because they really want to be at church.
Right. Like if I'm going to church, I want to go there because I want to praise Jesus. I want to see the people that.
Once I assessed that, I was like, I'll probably never go back again, because I realized I was only going out of fear.
That's right. And God don't operate out of fear. Operate out of love.
Yeah. Trust me, man. So No, that's true, man. Like I said, it's about understanding yourself at the end of the day, man.
Mm.
And I think this time alone in the house, people have had time to find themselves, man. And if you didn't find yourself, then I commend you. I don't think I've had that much TV to watch to not do some self-reflection.
Right.
Like you've had to really you've had to be able to I didn't think about there's some people who can really turn their brains off. Like I can't stop thinking about shit all day. I realize this is a curse sometimes, but I realize some people really just can just go just here. Like I mean, thoughts run through my shit like all the time, like consistently, like constant. I've slept and had been like, I like went to sleep and I just think all night and I wake up and I'm like, I didn't even sleep, but it's like 5 hours later. That happens to me sometimes. I have like a stream of consciousness through sleep. Like, so like, I understand that like some people, yeah, man, they can just turn that shit off. Like if you ain't really find out about you during this time, you alone in the house, relationships done fell apart.
Hey, well, you know what?
People thought they loved Shorty.
That brings me to the question of the week that I have for you, gentlemen. Because I mean, with this time, you have had a lot of time to think, essentially. And this is a Facebook post. It says, "What was the dumbest thing you did as a child?" And this person said, "I swallowed a penny when I was little." Right. Next person responded, "I put a baby doll in the microwave because I thought she was cold."
That's some dumb shit right there.
So now I ask you, gentlemen, what's the dumbest thing y'all did when you were a kid?
Damn, that one completely left
Oh,
field.
right. I got one. This is definitely top of my list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
When I was young, I had my white boy, my homie Matt, lived 3 houses down the street from me on Kingston Road, Kingswell, right? I forget the name of the street, but it's off of Dell Boulevard. One night, Matt had paintball guns, right? So I'd never seen a paintball gun before, and I was intrigued by these joints, these little paint pellets. So we just said, okay, can we break these? Can we start throwing them in the woods, in the creek? We would break them against trees, concrete, whatever, right? So one night, Matt's over at my crib, spending the night, and Eminem's Some Shady, the Marshall Mathers LP had just dropped. So we started bumping that joint. The next thing you know, this Matt's like, yo, man, I got these paintballs. You want to go throw some joints at some whips, at some cars? And, you know, at the time, we could also go play Ding Dong Ditch. They hit a couple houses over these paintballs, right? So we go out to the crib, and there's this African family that lived next door. Couldn't stand these motherfuckers. I like the kids, but the mom couldn't stand me. I didn't realize how Africans really don't like black people. I didn't realize her animus for me came from that. I just thought she just didn't like 80 children. But I realized she was so nice to Matt, the white, anyway, right? So, and their house was always hot as a motherfucker. And so we took the paintball, we was just throwing them at her house. She lived next door to me. And we just throwing the paintballs, right? He's like, yo, let's go up the street. Let's just start hitting cars in the neighborhood. Let's just put this work in, right?
God damn, Joe. We
running up and down the street, paintballing people's houses, ding dong ditching. We doing everything. We get back to the crib. We put the Marshall Mathers LP back on. Next thing you know, this doorbell ring. Ding dong. It's the African lady from next door with the police.
Oh no.
Right? She's saying that your son, I have him on camera, he came over and threw paint and vandalized my home. She said, I will not press charges if they clean it up. Right? So me and Matt went out there, the police left. Me and Matt went out there, cleaned the windows off of everything, right? They didn't know we had got other people in the neighborhood. So I told Matt, I was like, yo, when the other people see the paint, they're going to start talking. and then she gonna be able to tell them that we did it. So once everything got clear, we ran, laid out like at 1:00 in the morning. We were out there, and I'm just wiping down the cars and the houses we spray painted, bro. And I'm not getting them all the way clean. I'm just wiping enough of it away so they can't. So they just gonna be like, "What the fuck is this shit on my car?" They won't have it. It won't be enough to create what the hell happened last night. It's just like this weird stuff is on my car. So I had a bucket and water. So I was doing all the whips, right, bro? And Matt was lazy. And Matt was in his white boy privilege. He wasn't giving a fuck because he know his parents was just gonna try to ground him. I was like, nigga, I got these hands coming. And if they find out what I did, Matt wasn't worried because he was like adopted. He had like these older white parents. And Matt used to talk crazy to his parents, bro. Like fuck you, and like because they're like older people. And like I used to be like, yo, bro, you should talk to your peoples like that. But he used to be like, because we used to be in his basement playing games and shit. His mom would come down and just ask like, just as basic questions like, you know, did you do your homework? Bitch, get out of here. I'm serious, bro. I knew that white boy. Right. So
the fear struck through me.
So anyway, right, we cleaned it off, and it dawned on me later that night. I said, I was so mad at myself because I said, all we had to do was go to the creek, jump over, and we in Carrydale, the next block over, we could have did whatever the fuck we wanted and came home. The only reason I was out here doing all this shit is because I did it in my neighborhood. That's why I say it's the dumbest thing I've ever did when I was a child. Not the vandalism itself. That's dumb, but I'm just talking about the fact I did it in my known neighborhood. That's what fucked me up.
That's true. You can't do it to your own peoples.
No.
Not in your own hood, bro. You gotta take that over there.
Exactly.
Shit. Well, I'm gonna let you go because I got way too many stories. Hey, I'm honestly surprised I don't have a criminal record at this point. Like, I really did some dumb shit when I was growing up.
And me and you both, nigga.
Like, I'm gonna matter of fact, I'm gonna give you two. One is super embarrassing. I might not even say that shit. But the first one, I'm gonna just keep it simple. I had a white friend named Gavin when I was like from like third grade, third grade, all the way up until sixth grade. Bro.
Gavin was the homie.
Gavin was the homie, man. Crazy white dude. Swords all up in his house. Ain't give a fuck about nothing. Long story short, he came over to the crib one day. I ain't seen him in a minute. There's a park in front of my house. I could literally, it's like a 10-minute drive to this place where I used to live. There was a park in front of our house. And one day he was just like playing with matches. And this nigga Gavin was like, yo, what if we just set the trash can at the park on fire? And I was like, that would be dope. So we took some matches from my crib, walked to the park in front of my house. Again, this is even dumber than Joel's story. The park right in front of my house, took the matches, lit one match, set it under the trash can. I'm like, damn, nigga, this shit burning. Took another match, put it under the trash can. Damn, this shit burning, right? Third match, whoosh, put it under the trash can. Boom, bro, that joint went up in flames, bro. I mean, I don't know who, but somebody in the neighborhood called the fire ambulance.
Well, fucking of course.
And we just standing there, and they're like, did y'all do this? And in the back of my head, I just wanted to be like, Officer, me no speak English, bro. I don't even know. I don't even want to be. Just send me back home right now.
You one of those kids that play with fire, nigga?
Yeah, bro. I
had a homie who burned his whole grandma's house down doing that shit, nigga.
Damn.
That's OD. But I was low-key like a pyromaniac.
Yeah,
I knew niggas like you.
Bro.
I stayed away from them niggas, yo.
That's dangerous, man. That's dangerous.
Yeah, that was.
Where am I going to sleep?
Yeah, where I'm going to sleep, Grandma?
I'm not going to burn the house. Yeah, where am I going to sleep?
I'm not going. I played with fire before. I'm just that like. That's what you dumb shit just to do it sometimes.
Oh, of course.
Man, that's.
Yeah, what's your story though, Walt?
Bruh, like I remember on fucking was it Linnendale? I think it was Linnendale.
We all grew up in the same neighborhood. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, we did, man. Yeah, we did. But there was like construction going on, and I remember getting like dirt clods and just seeing how far I could throw it. And then I was like, oh, let me see if I can hit like certain cars. And there was one house that like at the beginning of our cul-de-sac, I was starting to throw some dirt clods at, and then the owner just came out, just like, what the fuck are you doing, But that was it. Like
I mean, what is some light shit?
man,
What's a good kick? Get out of here.
I just brought the question, didn't have a fire answer, nigga. Oh yeah, my old street was Kingsman. It was right next to Carradale. Kingsman. That's what it was. Kingsman.
Canary Court, right off of Cardinal. That's what
I just saw this interesting tweet by Dan Rather though.
What do you say?
He's still alive?
Yeah, nigga. So he said, so let's set the stage. President Trump has chosen as the venue for his first rally in months, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Site of a horrific massacre of African Americans. And he has set the date for June 19th. Juneteenth, a celebration of the end of slavery in the United States. Come on, son. He's taking shots at this point. He's not even hiding no more. I told y'all, daddy's in the Klan. I'm following tradition. This white robe is as hereditary as my white skin, nigga.
There ain't no way that's Tulsa, Oklahoma.
First of all, that's
June
a trip.
19th.
First of all, that's a trip, bro.
And you know what? You know what people want us to believe? It's a coincidence. Like he ain't been reading all these memes.
Day
like
is June 19th even?
It's like a Friday. I literally just looked at it.
That's the day of our liberation.
No. I mean like.
Well, the beginning of our liberation. We still working on it. But look,
Friday,
bro. I know he just found, but you know what's funny? He just found all this out the same time most white people did while we've been sharing this shit for the past 2 weeks. And that's why he's doing it. Like, this is the dude. This is who he is, bro. He is 110% the guy we thought he was.
Oh yeah,
a racist piece of shit.
Oh, so this is really happening? I thought this was hypotheticals. Like he's really having that rally.
My friend shit. This is Dan Rather, nigga. She posted it. She reshared it. He's really doing this. This is his first rally in months.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, shots fired. Like, come on, son. He don't care. Like, come on, son. If you loot, we shoot. Like, he don't read. Like, he's quote for quote. Segregation is George Wallace. Like, come on, son. He always sending little codes out to his people and shit, young. Come on, let's stop acting like what it is. It is what it is. We got the Klan running the country. Come on, y'all, chill. Stephen Miller came up with the put the kids in cages. He's supposed to make a speech about the police situation today. Come on, son. We know what's going on. We all know what it is. Very fine people on both sides. How many times how many things does this white man have to do for us to believe he is who he says he is?
Right.
That's what I've always wondered.
I don't know who us is, because niggas over here been known.
I understand that, but it's still in this place of skepticism for some people. Like, I'm just like, no, bro, he is 100% that dude.
Facts.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. June 19th, Tulsa.
Yeah, no, he knows exactly what he's doing. He baiting.
Yeah, 100%.
Hilarious, bro.
That's that guy.
Speaking of that guy. I heard there's some shit popping in allegedly, well, my coworkers was telling me in DC for Juneteenth, like Mochella or something like that, some type of like music festival, like live go-go band. I might just go. I'm gonna be there Sunday.
Never liked go-go.
I had no choice, but I might.
Songs
I might
sound
go.
the same.
I might go. I'm gonna be there Sunday. It's like the day before my birthday, so I'm gonna just be out there. Maybe just.
When's your birthday?
The 15th.
Oh shit!
But I'm gonna be there the 14th. Flick it up on BLM Avenue.
15 of July.
15 of June, kid. 5 days from now.
June. Oh shit, it's close. 5 days. I bet.
5 days, mo. Yeah, you know what?
They on her 20.
Damn, son.
What happened?
Outcry after a South African woman found hanging from a tree.
Yeah, I saw that. I did.
In Johannesburg.
Yeah.
She was outcry. She was found hanging from a tree in Johannesburg.
Stabbed multiple times.
I told y'all, the anti-racist movement, the racists about to fight back. Like, I don't know. I don't like. Yeah, this shit's it's about to 2020, dog. Don't understand. Look, man, when you cleaning out dirt, nigga, you gonna get dirty.
I just think it's like a very interesting topic that
Nigga, hope y'all got these gun licenses. I ain't fucking with y'all.
y'all need to
y'all
get mine.
look, y'all think it's a game. Wait till this shit pop off. We've been how many times this motherfucker when people be like, nah, I won't possibly, and how many times this shit did turn to, oh, he really did that shit. Yes, nigga, yes.
Are you surprised no more? I ain't
Nah,
surprised.
not at all. Come on, son. The whole police chief just out there crying about being heard and the dissonance. The
nerve of this nigga.
How all 57 of you motherfuckers going
Oh yeah.
stop working because two of y'all push the old man down. All right,
cracked his head over.
Fucking bleeding from his head like immediately. Not even like in 2 minutes. No, it's like, oh, get away from him. He's faking. No, he bleeding from his ear.
So what we can assess after all this is they were not enforcing the law. They thought they were the law.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning you talking back to me, you're talking back to the law.
Exactly.
This badge makes me the law. Not at all.
It's not what it is.
You can cite your rights to police officers. Most of the times, them niggas don't even know your rights.
Don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
You're like, what are these rights you talking about, man?
Exactly. Man, shut the fuck up and get on the ground. Oh, you ain't getting down?
And that's the
got my backup coming.
With qualified immunity. If they didn't know they were breaking a law to begin with because there wasn't legal precedent for breaking that law.
You mean like the precedent of they should know what the fuck they're out there doing?
Right. Like, don't kill people.
Right, like, and that's the bare minimum. Like, we're not even asking for a lot. We're just saying, hey, don't kill people, especially black people.
Oh, bro, you don't understand how deep of an ass that is in this country.
Like that, and that is the
what's
wild
that
part.
You know that sign going around? Racism is so American. When you fight racism, they think you've been anti-American. Yes, that's 100% bars. That is a huge ass walk.
Wild, man.
They can't kill one of us. They can't kill one of us for fun every month. Come on, son. That's like getting rid of the Super Bowl. This used to be events for them. They used to go to the lynches with cotton candy and shit, nigga.
Hey, fucking cancel sports.
Yeah.
Honestly, the NFL should just
stop. I'm 100. Look, NBA shouldn't even start back up.
I understand there are a lot of guys that are part of teams and they're just like, hey man, look, I only make $62,000 a year. I kind of need a paycheck.
And that's when you say, I'm doing this completely for myself. This is where I had my argument with Travis Scott when he did a Super Bowl. Don't be talking about you talk with Colin and got the green light, all this dumb shit. Just go out there, perform, and deal with the backlash.
Yeah.
Don't turn your comments off.
Yeah.
Take the heat that come with you making a selfish decision. I'm fine with you making a selfish decision. It's America. It's built on that shit. Yeah. But don't act like you're doing it in any way for us. This is for yourself. Just say it. Just say it. I'm cool with that. You can be selfish. Like, you can be that person.
I just don't even understand why you really was like publicly like, yo, I talked to Colin. And he ain't talked to Colin. It's
the same thing they do with it's the same thing that you want to happen with the black on black. You just want people to shut up.
Man, look,
that's all it is. It's like, it's literally like, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna put this out there so they shut the fuck up.
You know, this is a conversation for a different day, but what is white culture? Because I swear
I don't even care.
Oh, fucking niggas up.
I think that's all it is at this point, because it's like Italians have cultures.
Yeah.
And like Greeks got culture.
100%.
Even the British have culture.
Yeah.
But what is white American culture?
Fucking niggas up.
Racism.
That is literally all it is. Like, to your point, that's why I said a long time ago, when we truly get to a place where this joint's gone, we got to get rid of white. And people always say, oh, man, just don't say black and then, everything will be cookie clean. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. White came first, nigga. You get rid of white. Stop identifying as white. Y'all work on that over there. We're going to keep raising this black flag up. And then eventually at some point, when y'all get y'all shit together and you walk over to us, be like, okay, we got rid of white. Y'all get rid of black now. We'll be like, all right, cool. But don't like you. They always want to put like the chicken or the egg, man. It's like, nah, motherfucker. We know
Well,
what
I
came
mean,
first, nigga.
it's a little harder to get rid of black because, like, slaves don't know their lineage.
That's the point. That's why I need. That's why we need a
Like,
diaspora. We need that established so that there's just an easy channel of heritage. Like
yeah,
you
but
can have access to your heritage, and that's why we need his reparations too.
we need an Ellis Island, a black Ellis Island.
Look, bro, we need reparations. That's why I said they write this check. I don't, bro. You know how much, dude? White people ain't got here. I won't ever post anything about
Honestly,
anything black ever again.
So I think we should change the state though, not make it Georgia. All right.
Oh, y'all niggas want in Georgia.
But make it California because California
Nope,
got
nope,
everything.
nope. That shit gonna break off and go into the ocean one day, dog. That's a bad investment, nigga.
As soon as you said that, I was like, you could go to California.
That's a horrible investment,
California
bro.
got everything though.
Right now,
except water.
exactly, nigga. Come on, Walt. That's a bad investment. That's why I ain't like Georgia. It's like too low. It's too near sea level. That's all this global warming and shit. That's why I want in Montana. That shit high up on elevation. Got like plenty of planes, plenty of room to work with. Little population, so we don't got to move a lot of people out. But yeah, man. Like I said,
What
man.
kind of infrastructure would we be bringing to Montana?
Black excellence, thing.
Hey, that's all right. Okay,
that's
all
the main
right.
import.
All right, bet.
To that point, this is what's crazy. People don't acknowledge that we had more skills after slavery because we built our own shit. We built their shit. Like that whole White House was built by my ancestors. We reserve the right to burn that bitch down. We feel like it, nigga. So I'm saying, like, everything is that's the one where what's his name? From Fox News. He said those slaves who built the White House were well fed. That motherfucker, what's his name? He ain't there no more. He got fired because of the
Bill
rape
O'Reilly?
shit. Yeah, that bitch ass nigga.
But
Bill
look,
O'Reilly,
I mean, that's like
man.
saying, like, hey, man, look.
It was well fed.
I'm
Dog
pretty
shit.
sure Consuela is doing wonderfully because I paid her today for cleaning my house, you know, and I mean, she
At
got
least-
tacos and shit. So
At least
yeah,
Consuela got paid, bro.
They could
right.
go home.
Right.
Right.
Consuela don't live there.
Yeah, man. Like I said, bro, it's gonna be interesting 2020, man, because this shit happened in Georgia again. Niggas in lines for 4 hours in a primary. You think the general election is just gonna go smooth? That's why I was mad when Keisha was at the podium talking about go vote. They did in 2018, Keisha, and Stacey Abrams got robbed by Governor Kemp.
And I still can't believe that they're not allowing vote. What do you call this? Absentee ballots.
Oh, they had them last time. They just all went missing in the truck.
Wow.
You can send them in. That don't mean we gotta count them, nigga.
That's so like it.
We'll count every 5 as one. That's what they do. Why you think they love to why you think they redline so much? Redlining came after we got the right to vote, player.
Wait, instead of saying that we're black, right? What if all of us just say that we're white on our absentee ballots? Like if
it's not gonna work. I literally just said this. That's why they redlined us, so they know our demographics.
Shit.
For instance, when the banks had non-discriminatory practices put in place, like the Fair Housing Act, what they were able to do, they did said, okay, we can't discriminate against you because you're black, but we can do your zip code.
Yeah.
So they always have their little extra window or their way that they can manipulate the joint without saying nigga.
Oh yeah.
Like, what's the Southern Strategy? That joint was in the 13th documentary. You say you scream nigga, 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 nigga. At some point, you can't say that anymore because it's wrong. So that's when you start saying stuff like states' rights and voter rights and all this different type of stuff, right? Some black people used to have to pay $2 a vote. This one black woman, I saw her post about that today. She said we used to have to pay $2 to vote, and that's when if we first got it right, they used to charge niggas like $2.
Pay to vote?
Yeah, illegally. They used to make you pay $2 and take a test.
Yeah,
to vote.
The test.
Yeah, $2 to take the test to vote. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't never throw away my vote, because I understand the sacrifices that went towards that shit. Like, I can't ever throw it away. I always, even if I ain't got no choices and there's two shit sandwiches in there, I'm gonna go in there and eat a shit sandwich.
There's always a less shitty
sandwich. This is also what's pissing me off, because Joe Biden just made a speech about giving $300 million towards police departments and budgeting, increasing the budgets, and he's completely against defunding them. And this is what I meant when I said, look, Joe, you going to stop belittling the intelligence of these white kids and these black kids, these young kids out there protesting. They look at your policies and they cannot discern in your policies and your politics how you differ from the orange one. They can discern that you're a better person, but that distinction is not strong enough in their eyes to vote. They are policy driven. You're not going to get none of Bernie's people or Andrew Yang's people. You're not going to do that. And tonally, you talk about increasing the budget federally for police. Like, in what world does that even make sense with what's going on right now? So I was talking about this earlier with a coworker. Did y'all see the video of the mayor in Minneapolis getting booed out the crowd?
Yeah.
Because they was talking about defunding the police. They dropped the mic to that nigga. Jacob, what you gonna do? He said, "You gonna defund the police?" Jacob was like, "I don't agree with that." He said, "Go home, Jacob." They was shitting on that nigga. Yeah. And literally, they took this nigga basketball and told him to go home. Yeah, that shit was crazy. You just felt sad for this nigga a little bit, because they just literally booed this nigga. Boo. So we was talking about this fact that Tucker Carlson on Fox News took that clip and was like, "He's the boss. You don't talk down to the boss of your city like this." Da, 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 da. That's how Fox News always spends shit, right? White mayor, so now it's, oh, they're not even respecting authority in their own town. They want to defund the police. Look at these radicals, right? You know how they spend shit. So I made the point of, I learned, this activist was on Trevor Noah's show. She said the defund the police movement has been something that's been on the ground in Minneapolis for 5+ years. There's been activists going around knocking door to door. That's why the city council actually voted to do it. It's not a new conversation to them. It's something that's actually been from activists campaigning for it. It ramped up more after Philando died in 2016. But it's just something they've actually been advocating for. And they had to actually implement a version of it, because they don't ever talk about this on mainstream media, but the white supremacist groups was riding around looking for niggas to kill in the last couple of weeks. And they had to arm themselves and do patrols in their neighborhoods. So they've actually utilized the mechanism of what they're talking about when they say defund the police. So that was her whole point. So when people see this argument or how it took place in Minneapolis, it isn't a new thing there. So when they put that mic in his face and ask him if he's going to do it, he's not the first time he's hearing it. It isn't a new thought. He understands the implications of it. He's not misunderstanding the phrasing. He completely understands what they're talking about. So when he says no to that, I completely understood the booing once I heard her say that. Because in my eyes, the mayor, his response to the initial shooting was kind of dope to me. He understood the pain. He talked about the pain. But when I understood the other element of it, I said, okay, Jacob ain't shit. So, like I said, man, shit be running deep, bro. We just don't be knowing about shit. Niggas need to, like Trevor Noah grabbed the girl from the ground. She's been in Minneapolis since 2003.
Damn.
She says there's been 16 known shootings with video evidence that have not resulted in anything in Minneapolis.
With video evidence.
Yeah, don't forget the dude who shot Philando. They had a whole body cam and his patrol car footage that they released after the trial. And the only thing we had to go on was his girlfriend's video, which is what went viral. Yeah. And but yeah, man, that officer went home after all that, man. But yeah, man. So we did the question of the week. I think get that Run of Jewels 4 fire.
True.
Killer Mike with the militant.
Freddie Gibbs.
Oh, that Freddie Gibbs, that John Alchemist he got 1985 is fire. Yeah. I haven't heard the whole project yet, but I heard 1985. That joint's fire. What
else is dropped?
Movie wise, I think we're good. Have you guys had any interesting experience with your allies this week?
Ain't got no allies, bro.
Damn.
Ain't got no allies. Yeah, no, man. Well, you ain't got no like white friends hitting you up randomly, like, hey man, just checking up on you, see how you're doing, bro.
Nah, I got a couple that did. It was honestly a little weird, but one of my friends actually hit me up to the renamed TC Williams group, and apparently that's going around right now. That's super local thing, but they're
That's
trying to
local
get
as fuck.
trying to get TC Williams renamed.
To what though?
Ah,
Anything floating around? I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, I've seen people say Titans, because of the movie, but
Uh,
yeah.
Titans High School. Yeah, no, like I said, man, I had one white friend hit me up to check up on me. And then she, funny enough, asked if any other white friends that I had were checking up on me. And I just had to keep it 100. I'm like, yeah, I don't have any white friends, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Yeah.
I
I
just
had
had
I had a coworker. She messaged. She brought up. She finally watched a movie, Parasite, and I like how she phrased it though, because she's talking about she's finally gonna watch it. So we was talking about the movie, and then she said, she was like, "Oh, I wanted to ask how you're doing with everything that's going on," and she put in parentheses. By the way, you could totally tell me to fuck off if you want to.
Hey, all right. Look,
I was cool to tell him to fuck up.
And I was like, I would never say that to you. I put that shit in parentheses to you. But I know some people, I'm like, look, but like there's a strong difference between putting some shit in your timeline and putting it in your story too on IG. So just so you know, because in your timeline, when you go in there, you can't run from it. But what's in your story, you can choose to click and see.
Yeah.
There's a little difference.
Look,
Actually, it's kind of big.
24 hours.
It's kind of big.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, man, Tabari was talking about my bad, homie from work was talking about how he got to switch his timeline up. He got all the black shit in there. Now he about to start doing videos and different things. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, so you getting your shit like mine. I ain't at it. Gotta get, like I said, man, represented in all spaces, man. Represented on your Facebook, your Instagrams, your IGs. So that way when they see you in person, they know what they got. Ain't no sugarcoating shit. Like, yeah, that's how I've been dodging all these unnecessary superficial conversations about race for the past 4 years now. Like everybody's on the timeline like, oh my God, all these all lives matter people. I ain't got none of that shit in my feed because they've been known not to fuck with me.
I don't even see it.
Yeah.
And I will say the people that are hitting me up are recent friends. Like they're definitely people that I've met within the last year. Like
yeah makes
people,
sense.
Yeah, people that are older than that, like they ain't hit me up.
Yeah. But also may speak to they ain't got nobody else to talk to.
Hey, fast.
Like I said, man, it's like limited resources in terms of and don't let that black square they posted on Blackout Tuesday become the new I have a black friend.
Bro, Walt, you that black friend. I hope you know that. I ain't nobody's black friend. Ain't about to.
No, you are.
Nah,
I'm really not. Like
you are.
If they think I am, I'm gonna set them straight. I told what's
you are.
I don't.
You are
have
100%.
They in their head, yeah, but 100%.
Look, that's all. That's all it needs to be is in their head, bro.
Nah, I really, honest to God, like, I really don't have any like white friends. Like, I really don't.
Agree. I can't say that. You have some white friends, yeah. People I consider friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. And it's not because like
I count Ali as white.
Hey, facts.
I'm mad at that.
Ali Baba, yeah, man. He called me the other day. He wanted us to come through the joint and say what's up, yeah.
Hey, I mean, yeah.
He's in Virginia for until October. Amazon headquarters is closed, so.
Yeah, again. Oh yeah, don't say it on the pod.
Amazon's their headquarters is closed, so.
True.
You're gonna be. I mean, look. At the end of the day, I think we really don't gotta watch what we say until we start getting these views up. Yeah.
Look, they're gonna they're gonna go back.
I know what you're talking about though. No, they can, but I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Fuck them.
I'm like real talk. I mean, like, I really don't. Like,
I really ain't say nothing crazy, so I'm not.
I mean, even if I did, I'm like,
crazy
still.
for real. Like,
oh, the president's a white supremacist.
What do we call? That's not crazy. That's true.
Literally trolling black people.
Yeah.
by picking the place of one of our worst massacres on American soil on the day that we were freed from one of our most trying times in American history. And he gonna hold essentially what is a KKK rally.
Oh, you know what? He's gonna have Candace Owens there.
I hope he does.
He's gonna have Candace Owens there.
He needs to have her there. We need to let her fully embrace what she wants to be.
That's his African American. You know that?
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, my African American, look at him.
Yeah,
look at it.
I really want. That's it. He's an African American. Like, nah, man. I really want Candace Owens to truly become Samuel and Django, bro. Like, she already is on social media.
I'm like, because Samuel is smart.
She's smart too.
What's she doing, man? She's
smart. Did you see the video that broke her shit down?
Nah,
by that one brother.
Which one?
But I can't remember his name. But I shared it in my story, and it was very interesting because he was talking about how because she called George Floyd a martyr. He was like, he's not a martyr because a martyr is a voluntary sacrifice for a bigger gain or bigger, and he didn't voluntarily do that. So he argued that George is a catalyst, meaning he is something that is an agent for change, right?
Fair.
And so he said, ironically, he said, white people are sharing your video, Candace, and you have over 100 million views. And they put this on their timeline so they don't have to say anything foul themselves. You can become their mouthpiece. So he says, ironically, you are their martyr, Candace. You have chosen to sacrifice yourself for these white people. Then he said, I wonder if they would do the same for you. It's just bars because he's fact. She's their martyr. The white woman who will die on the hill saying they're not that bad, y'all. It's all in your head.
It was well fed, man. I'm telling y'all.
Facts. Yeah, man. So I think we can wrap it up, though.
Yeah, man.
Call it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
That little joint in the chair gave out.
I was saying, like, can't reach through the screen to grab you, bro.
Yeah, 100%, man. Not yet. Not with the technology as it is.
Man.
They should have kept Stacey Dash, man. At least she was fine. Candace looked like a literal raccoon.
Snake. Oh man, like nah, man. I like she's in a role, man. Like she's in a role. We have to openly call it a coon. We have to call it what it is, man. She's cooning, 110% cooning. You were able to hide behind the mystique of, I just don't want black people to always vote for Democrats. You were able to hide behind that a little bit sometimes in certain situations. But now you're just full blown coon.
Right. Like, and plus we already have our designated black ratchet voice, and that's Azalea Banks.
Yes, exactly.
You know, claim her.
Oh no, the blacks claim Azalea Banks. Don't get it.
I claim Azalea.
The blacks claim Azalea Banks.
Azalea just reminds me of she's just that she really is truly a super awkward black girl.
Yeah.
It's a kind of claim she was, but not really. She really is a super awkward black girl. Yeah.
I don't even know about her. Mm-hmm. I don't understand her.
She's still fine though.
She alright.
Azalea, alright.
She alright. I would no, I'm not saying that. She alright.
She alright. I think she cute though. She cute.
Again, should have kept Stacey Dash.
She could get it.
Hey, look.
I mean,
Stacey Dash is.
Stacey Dash can get it.
Clueless was nice.
I don't even care about Clueless. I mean, like right now, today, June 10th, 2020, Stacey Dash could get it.
Word? Nah,
yes.
You can't. Nah.
Cooning and all, bro.
Yeah, I don't think he's seen the recent pictures. He ain't seen them mugshots.
I don't care, my nigga.
Yes, you should.
I will he really right don't now. Care, bro. I really don't care. Son,
this is Luz we talking about.
I really, really do not care. I'm Googling it right now.
Nigga, she could have a Klan hoodie on. He's still hit.
I'm just saying one thing.
This nigga's walks like respect yourself, brother.
Bro, like,
I'm here for one thing and one thing only.
like my guy.
Look,
What?
this nigga Lewis is like, what's a pussy for I die, nigga? That's this nigga's mantra. He got that shit tatted on his heart, yeah. I was a pussy for I die, nigga.
She don't even look that bad in the mugshot, man. Y'all
Nah,
fuck.
man, nah.
She okay.
Big Google to try.
No.
She just needs some
No,
rest.
not Stacey Dash.
More Stacey for me, man.
I would need clueless Stacey Dash if I was gonna go.
Right, like if anything, but you know,
Yeah.
Stacey Dash need to go to some nunnery, like some black nunnery, and just commit herself to the black cause for the rest of her life. Like
You just
don't
need a
be
nap.
You know what's funny? The craziest lie about Clueless is the fact that she had a black boyfriend.
right.
Was she
Right.
dating Love? What's her name?
Nah, Donald Faison. He was her boyfriend in the movie, but
Right.
I also acknowledge that was fiction. She would have had a white boyfriend in that situation.
In real life,
But the fact of Hollywood is so racist, they didn't want to give her one,
yeah.
so they gave her a black one. This is the layers to which this should be working, son. It's like, I think she would have a white boyfriend, but we can't really give her one. It's America. Let's give her.
Huh.
Oh,
In the
man.
90s. In the 90s, too. Yeah.
Exactly.
Black girl with that young white man.
But her brother could get a snow bunny in the movie regardless.
Nah.
And look, if Donald Faison, if it was reversed and Donald Faison with Stacey Dash character, they would have given him a snow bunny girlfriend. I guarantee it.
Nah,
Like an Asian joint.
Nah,
Why would they
90s.
not? Why would they
90s.
not?
And either way,
I have seen
90s.
you will see
Asian or Spanish.
Hispanic, right?
Yes, that's it. Because Will Smith.
I think they would have given him a
Will-
snow bunny.
Yeah.
Will Smith.
That's a
was
Beano line. Why is Will Smith always opposite Latino girl?
Latino girls, exactly. Will Smith was the top Negro in the 90s. Like,
His first white girl, he didn't get the opposite of white girl, so he made Focus with Margaret Robbie, nigga.
right? Like,
I seen that piece of shit too. I'm just saying they would be more likely to give Donald Faison a snow bunny than they would to give Stacey a white man.
I could
In the
argue.
90s.
I could
In the
literally
90s.
argue this point right now, right?
In the
Because
90s.
Donald Faison was on Scrubs and he was married to a Latino woman.
boom.
But that's a whole nother show, man. Get out of here.
Yeah,
Nah,
what you
man,
talking about,
that's the
nigga?
industry, man. They say, oh, he gonna cut his camera. See,
Get out of here. I guess that's a good point.
Nah, man, like I said, look, they had a formula, nigga. This shit worked. Motherfuckers wanted to. If you had black people in the movie and white people was in that joint, it was going to be, if it was a black girl, because for instance, right, I always looked at Screech on Saved by the Bell. He wanted Lisa,
yes.
right? He wanted Lisa so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Screech had a straight jungle fever, yeah.
Bruh.
But he never got that joint.
Nope.
He got close.
You got close.
I think they dated a second.
Did
I
they?
never watched
I
it,
don't
brother.
remember that episode. I watched. I don't remember that.
Only thing
Yeah.
from Brother Bell I know is that Zach Morris is terrible. That's it.
As a person?
Yeah, like he's the worst person on that show.
In the show or in real life?
In the show, Zach Morris'
yeah.
character, yeah, he's the worst.
He's a piece of shit.
I always remember, you know what's funny, man? When I think of these, I always remember the conscious episodes.
Bruh, this-
Like,
a very special episode.
like there was an episode.
Yeah.
I remember there was an episode where I think it was Kelly, the girl with the wavy blonde hair.
Yeah.
Not the other one.
The hot one, right?
Not the main hot one. The second hot, like the second white girl with the curly hair, Jessie. And I remember she had started smoking. Right, you know, smoking so bad. She's smoking cigarettes. Right, so
Ooh.
I remember they had this one joint where they took the cigarette and held it, and then they blew it through the tissue. And the tissue turns like brown and shit, right? And they show her, and Zach is like, "This is what you're putting in your body." And she's like, "Oh my God, what have I been doing?" Always love like this bullshit. The ways in which they try to get niggas to not do shit, right? So man, I love that shit so much, man. I was like, I want to make an episode like that, our show, man.
Overly
A
like
very special episode.
Con-
Yeah, a very special
in your face
episode, man.
episode.
But we gotta
See-
flip it.
what is it focused on though? Because it's like it's either gang violence,
No. It
drugs,
can't be anything. It can't
right?
be anything real.
Like,
Like I think it
Some
really
bullshit.
might be.
What if it's like weed prices? Like because because you know how weed prices be fluctuating.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Especially if a
Screwed over by
nigga
a
fuck with
dealer.
you, and then if a nigga don't fuck with you no more, but he's still willing to
Oh no.
sell to you.
I know what it is. The grade of the weed.
Oh, yeah.
The dudes are like, yo, man, like, anybody notice that what's his name always got brown weed?
Right. Hey, I thought it was just me. Like,
Yeah,
damn.
he does smoke Reggie, doesn't he?
Right.
And niggas is just concerned about him.
It's got to be a K2 episode.
Yeah, dog. Look, man. I'm trying to tell you, dog. You just gotta get goofy as fuck with this shit, dog. I already told you about the white dude who the conversation you had with the black dude. The black dude's like, I can't be your black friend. Because he says like he says one day you'll find a black person that lets you say the N-word, but it won't be me.
Hey, facts. That's it.
Oh man, let's go ahead and wrap this straight up, yeah.
All right, man.
All right, so this has been a TWEOM This has been a TWEOM podcast. I'm your host, Joe Morris.
Your other host, Louis XV.
And it's your other host, Walt Rid.
Thank you for watching. Peace.
Peace.